Welcome into Bulls Postgame Live, presented to you by Toyota. Jason Goff, 15-year NBA veteran, fifth pick in the 1990 NBA draft. Kendall, Gill. Happy holidays to everyone. Before we get started, 112-91, the Bulls lose. Seems like the fellas started thinking about the season's greetings a little bit early.
Maybe
this
they
was
did.
A tough one. This was a dud.
Maybe Giannis and Dame Lillard should have played tonight.
Got the Bulls' attention.
Probably got their attention. And, sometimes, when you see those superstars, the guys that are averaging 30 and 25 not playing, you kind of let your guard down. And they forgot about Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, and Brook Lopez, of course. Those guys really came to play tonight. Chris Middleton looking like the former All-Star that he was, looking like the guy that he was when they won the championship. And, of course, Bobby Portis. We said this earlier in the evening in the pregame show that Bobby Portis is a Bulls killer, and that's exactly what he did tonight.
No doubt about it. This was a tough one. This was a tough one because we talked about the letdown factor without Giannis, without Dame out there. I expected the Bulls to win this one headed into the Christmas season.
I did too. I thought this was going to be a nice win for the Bulls.
Yeah. These are the ones you got to pick up. These are the ones you got to pick up because at the end of the season, when you're looking at that top six, and you might be on the outside looking in, you might be in the play-in situation. These are the kind of games. But as you mentioned, off the bench, Jaylen Smith. We talked about Jaylen Smith when he's healthy. He provides shooting. He provides, another big out there aside from Nikola Vucevic. Jaylen Smith tonight had himself a decent offering tonight. He had 14 points, 7 rebounds, 6 of 11 from the field. Only 1 for 5 from 3, so he hit all his shots in the 2-point area, but Jaylen Smith tonight with another decent game.
No, he did a great job, and for your backup center, these are the type of numbers that you want. You want him to come in, you want him to provide the scoring punch that you need, and that's what he did. And also gives you some rebounds and a couple of assists. Did a serviceable job for a big man coming off the bench.
No doubt about it. You mentioned Bobby Portis. I mean, what more can you say? We talked about it in the pregame show. Chicago Bull at one point, first-round pick, SEC Player of the Year. We saw him 10 years ago. Now, 10 years later, he is an NBA champion. He's traveled the world. He's traveled the NBA. He's found a home with Milwaukee. I mean, he is part of that Milwaukee. He's part of that Milwaukee Bucks culture. As you mentioned, the champion. 7 for 18. Bobby's not scared to put him up.
No,
he's not scared to put him up. 7 for 18 tonight, 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists for BP.
Yeah, and Bobby was that way when he was here. It's just that his game got better, and he was always a big-time worker. He does all of the little things, and you look at that. He can stretch you out from 3. You look at his numbers tonight, 19 points, 13 rebounds, and an additional 6 assists. So, I don't know what it is about the Bulls uniform when he sees it.
It's payback.
It's
payback.
But every time.
So you played for the Timberwolves, you played for the Nets, you played for the Sonics, you played for the Hornets, right? Miami. In Miami, right? And
but that was on those teams later on in your career, they don't count.
Exactly. Well, I got you. Was there a team that when you went up against them because you played for them that you kind of got a little extra something for them in the tank?
Charlotte. Because they drafted me, and I had some great years there, and with me, Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson, but I always had this, you traded me. So, you always had that extra. Yeah. I could see what Bobby Portis has in. I wish he was on the Bulls now.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can tell
Bobby
you
be a nice piece on the Bulls right now.
He would be.
Yeah, shout out to Bobby Portis. Heck of a dude, too. I spent some time doing appearances when he was here with Bobby Portis. So shout out to Bobby. You mentioned Chris Middleton. When this team was a championship contender, and they're still a championship contender now, but when this team was in the throes of their championship contention, they might be at the back end of that window now, which is why they went out and made the point guard switch up with Dame Lillard. But Chris Middleton was a guy who wasn't just the second option, but many times, especially in the finals, he was the first option. I mean, he could put 40 on you in the finals game, as we saw. Chris Middleton has been dragging that leg for the last couple of years. He's up in age, he's made a lot of money, he's played a lot of minutes, but first month back from injury, if they're going to get this if they can kind of keep this Chris Middleton together until the playoffs and then say, hey, go play 30 minutes a night, there's a different dynamic to this team.
Different dynamic to the team because now you got 4 guys that can really score. I mean, you got Lopez, you got Giannis, you got Dame, and you got Bobby Portis, and now you got Chris Middleton coming at you. I mean, that's tough. You know, and for all teams, you need 4 guys to go with Boston's 4 guys.
For real.
You know,
he got that big Bernard King knee brace on, boy. I was looking at that knee brace.
Yeah. That's okay as long as that new knee brace is lubricated and everything, and it can move and keeps the knee secure. Right? Then you can work with that.
Yeah.
But I like what I see, and listen, the Milwaukee Bucks started off rough this season.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about Doc and everything, but you got to have faith in the process. Okay, Dame Lillard now has really figured out how to play with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now
he's comfortable now.
Yeah. Now and they're veterans.
Right.
Okay, and they know the window is closing.
Right.
So they're going to give it their all. So, don't be surprised if Milwaukee is,
listen,
don't be surprised.
You take a look at the East. Like, Philadelphia obviously isn't what everyone thought they would be because of injuries and all the other. I mean, you put Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid out there, but you can't get them out there together, right? The New York Knicks, they played well with their new pieces, right? But we'll see in the playoffs what that does. Cleveland, that's the team that everybody's looking at in the regular season like, okay, it feels good, it looks good, but I want to see in the playoffs. And then you got the reigning champs, and right there, the Bucks, who are playing really good basketball over the last month or so.
Yeah, with one player that nobody can guard in Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then you have the other guys that can sit out there and do work, and Dame Lillard, one of the best scorers in the league. I really like what I see in Milwaukee.
No doubt. We talked about Vooch and his all-star campaign in the pregame show tonight. Another light night, right? 17 points, 12 rebounds, got 16 shots up. This game was out of hand, right? So you're really not looking at the stats. But Vooch making sure that his name stays in consideration. We talked about it in the beginning. Karl-Anthony Towns probably going to be the guy who starts at the center position for the East because of the way he's played. But then after that, you're looking at Evan Mobley. You're looking at, Joel Embiid, even though he hasn't played the requisite amount of games, and Vooch is right in the mix of that conversation.
Right, and if Joel Embiid keeps getting thrown out of games like he did tonight, then it's going to be a lot easier. But what Vooch has to do, I like the way he's continuing to play steady, but we still need him to get 20-something plus.
Yeah.
Okay, in order for him to stay in that all-star conversation. And we need to win some of these games because, believe me, as a guy that got snubbed a couple times, it's about the wins as well. You could be playing your butt off, but you got to win some of these games that they're losing.
Were you surprised at all that Zach didn't push the gas a little bit more tonight?
Yeah,
only 13 shots up tonight.
Yeah, I was surprised.
14 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. 3 turnovers, unfortunately, 33 minutes. I was expecting at some point, but then they were down by 20 midway through the third quarter. But I was expecting for Zach to kind of assert himself a little bit more offensively headed into the long break.
Yeah, no, I was too. He ended up with 14.6 rebounds, 3 assists, but it's still not a Zach-like game. We want to see those Zach games like in Boston the other night where he dropped 36, where he was aggressive, where he scored from beyond the three-point arc, where he scored mid-range, where he took the ball to the basket. That's the guy that we want to see each and every night. That's the guy that the Bulls need each and every night in order to win.
No doubt about it, especially with Kobe White struggling a little bit with that ankle injury tonight. Kobe only had 10 points, 4 of 11 from the field. It was not a good night offensively. Anytime you don't get to 100 in this league these days, there's some issues.
Yeah,
there's some issues.
And the Bulls shoot 10 for 48 from 3. That's 21%. And 40% overall. That's not going to beat a contending team.
I know.
And, here's the one thing. When the Bulls know that they're not knocking down the 3, they got to make a concerted effort to drive the ball to the bucket and get those easy twos. I saw it once again a couple times where guys were right at the basket, wide open twos.
Kobe did it with the kick out to Jaylen Smith.
Yeah, Vooch did it as well. And you got to take those shots because it's free, And I know we're in this culture of three-point shooting, but that's the higher percentage shot. I'd rather have a 2 than a missed 3.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.